From what I understand, and I hope I've been saying it right, it's like Surrey. You're asking Surrey for a question. So, but he's a young man. When we at the after we signed that group in the fall, and we had talked, we really felt we wanted to add an athletic forward, big man kind of guy that had some, could rebound, run the court, do those things. I think he really fits that mold. Dejuan, you got to give him some credit. He's a friend of his. I don't know how many times he texted myself and the staff and said, "What about my boy Surrey? You got to connect. We got to get." So we finally got out there, started watching him. A great young man, great family. He made a decision to go to the prep school. It was a hard decision to leave home. They're a close-knit family. It was, he'll tell you it was those first few weeks being away from home were really hard, but in the long run, I think it's really helped him as, grow into a man, to become a better basketball player. He made a lot of improvement over the year and, really focused on, getting better. He also was a very, very good student, had some interest from Ivy League schools, which was, it says a lot about him and his family and his upbringing. So we're really happy. Just a good guy, good young man. He's all fired up for Easter. They not getting out of the house and stuff like that. His mom's been really restrictive on him going out, especially in Chicago. They've had, it's been a hot spot, but he got they bought him for Easter a basketball hoop, and we talked Saturday, and he was getting that all set up so he can't go to the playgrounds in Chicago. They got him locked up. You can't get in the gym. So they got him a hoop. And now, although they had a snowstorm today in Chicago, you can't get out there and shoot. But, that excited him, and it shows how much he wants to work and get better as a player.
And if you wouldn't mind, a similar question about Rudy Williams. Obviously put up great numbers at NEO across the board. Just an evaluation of him, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, when we had some conversations, obviously with David Sloan and his desire to maybe leave, we jumped on as a staff. We hit it hard, getting on point guards who was available. I'll be honest, we were very, very fortunate to latch onto Rudy. The first time I called him, and I think if you talk to him, you'll love his personality, you'll love his smile, love his energy. He rarely wears a shirt, and I'm not, sure what that's about. But his coach, Coach Jackson from NEO, first thing he asked me when I called, he said, "Coach, when you talked to him, did he have a shirt on?" And I said, "No, he didn't." He goes, "Well, I'm happy because he never wears a shirt for me either, too." So, but I think he just has a vibrant personality. He's a leader. He's got if you've seen him, he's got a pretty good body. Physically, he's developed, which, we feel really good about Nigel Pack. I think he's got a chance to be a star in the future, but this gives us, you can't just live on one point guard. I think they could actually play together at times, because Nigel's a good scorer, and actually Rudy, this year they asked him to score more. I think he might have led the country in assists for junior college, but he still scored in the near 20, 18 or 20 points a game. So he gives you that. And the one question we have, and we kind of tease him about it. They played a lot of 2-3 zone, and the first I asked his coach, can he guard anybody? Because we're not playing much zone in Manhattan, and he's almost taken it as a challenge. I've talked to his AAU coaches, his high school coaches. He said he was they've said he was a big time defender growing up. He was short. He was 5'4" or so as a sophomore. And he was kind of one of those little pesky guys, and he promises me he can guard. So we'll see about that as we get him into the program.
With one recruiting spot left, one scholarship left, what do you look more towards backcourt or front court for that spot?
I think we'd love to get somebody versatile that could give us a little bit of both, to be honest, and that might be a stretch. I think it's all for practice. You need at least 6 perimeter guys, obviously, to go 3-on-3 to have practice. we've been fortunate to have some good walk-ons. If you can get that seventh guy, and that's, we were, so blessed. I always talked about Pearson. He could, if we needed him, if Antonio was sick or Monty was hurt, he could go with the big guys. If somebody was hurt with the guards, he was able to rotate down and he could give us both. But you don't have that. We're not going to probably have a walk-on like that. Joey's a good walk-on, but we won't have that next year. So I think if we could get somebody that could give us a little bit of both, I think that would be the ideal thing to fill in the class.
Bruce, Mick Schaefer, 41 Action News in Kansas City. Thanks for doing this. This class, as far as depth goes, as far as talent goes, is very, very good. Just wondering, I know you don't know how it's all going to pan out 3 and 4 years down the road here, but where does the excitement of this class rank with the others you've had in Manhattan?
Well, I just got off a Zoom call with all the team. We were kind of waiting. It's the first time we could include Rudy and Surrey in the call. We've been talking to them individual, but just kind of did a Zoom call, welcomed everybody. And the first thing I said, I can't be more excited about it. The group that we've been able to sign, to add these two guys late, you feel good about them. And you got, Casey sat out obviously for us. It's a lot, and Tom and I have talked about it a lot, like when you had the group with Dean and Cam and Barry, but now you even have more guys, and you got, as you said, talent, you got some depth, you got some versatility. I think you have scoring. I know that's a concern of ours. I know it's a concern of our fans. Who's going to score for us, and I think you got some guys that can step right in and score the basketball. So I think it's got a little bit of everything, and got, for the most part, guys that have come from winning programs. And I think that's always important. We talked about Dean, Cam, and Barry, what they did with their teams. You can go down the line. Nigel was with one of the best teams in Indiana, and coming through. He also played on a very, very good AAU team in EYBL. Luke actually beat Davion to go to state. They didn't get to play the Final Four, but both of them had, successful years and successful seasons. We talked about Davion, and then Selton's team, was one of the best in the country. I mean, they did things that no one has done, beating Oak Hill, beating Prolific, who a lot of people felt might have been the best team in the country. So you got guys that have come from winning programs. Rudy led his team, to Hutch as a freshman, won the conference back-to-back years. So you feel good about that also.
Hey, Coach. Rob Collins, also in Kansas City, Fox 4. How you doing? Thanks for doing this.
Yep.
Can you talk about how you've been able to talk with these guys with all these stay-at-home orders and new technology? Have you had to ask some of the younger folks around how to operate some of these things?
Tom and I talked about it today. I've had to have a lot of lessons. I'm lucky I have 2 phones and an iPad, because I got to have different people on the phones helping me get to Zoom calls and whatever. And I know the first one I was going to have, we've done Zoom home visits. We've done all this stuff. I was sweating, making sure I'm hitting the right button and making sure they could hear me. And, why is my face on there and theirs aren't? And so it's been an interesting transition. And I basically, you can, talk to my wife. I get up in the morning, I come, she sends me to the basement, and I get in the little office, and I'm there. I come up for lunch. We have recess, and I take a walk with her, have a healthy snack, and then I go back in the dungeon again and get on the phone. And then I've even had to get back on it. It's been stressful. It hasn't been easy. But we've been fortunate, as I said, to sign a couple guys. At first they said recruiting was going to be April 15th, then it was May 1st, and then when they said June, families and young men and coaches just said, hey, you're going to have to make decisions. It's hard. We're fortunate. We have a great video staff. They've been able to put a lot of highlights and tours and all that type of stuff together to help us kind of explain what we have to offer here. And we've just done our best. And as I said, it's you can't wish this upon anybody, but you got to do your best every day. And that's what we talk to our players about, with them just being back home and the new recruits. You got to do more with less. And if we can do that and survive this, I hope we're all going to be better from it.
Hey, Bruce, I got a question for you, one on Rudy and one on Siri. With Rudy, do you see him more as a scoring point guard or a passing point guard? And with Siri, does he have any stretch capabilities, or is he strictly more of just an inside four?
Well, I think Rudy, I really believe he can give you both. If you look at his numbers, he did improve his 3-point shooting. The Coach Jackson, if you talk to him, the first year they had a really good team, and he was mainly a distributor. This year he had to score more. His 3-point shooting percentage went up to about 38. He's an 80% free throw shooter. The thing I really like is he has a mid-range game. He actually has a pull-up jump shot, which is nice. So I think he can do both. And we'll see if he can guard. That'll be the big question. And he does have the physical body that you need, especially when you talk about you're going to compete against Baylor with the physical guards that they had, the best teams in the country, in the league. You got to be able to deal with that. And I know I tease him about not having a shirt, but I'm happy he's proud to not have that shirt on, that he's showing off a body that can compete at the Big 12. With Surrey, he's increased his range. I know he wants to become a better 3-point shooter. I think he's very, very comfortable, or gotten better out to 17. His main strengths, though, are definitely, his athleticism, running, jumping, defending. But he really plays hard, and he played on a really, really talented team this year in Compass.
How tough was it to see both David and Cardi go, and what were those conversations like there at the end?
Well, I think everybody kind of knew Cardi's situation. David, I definitely – I wasn't surprised, but I didn't think – I really thought he would still stay. I really believe – and this is nationwide. It's, kids are at home. They're around people. People are, talking to them, that don't always know what the reality is. If these guys were back here in workouts and we were able to give them love, I think you probably wouldn't have quite as many transfers nationwide. It's a tough situation. There's so many unknowns, and that's what I've tried to talk to a lot of I talk to our guys all the time. We don't know what's going to happen. We have hopes and prayers, that we're going to be back on campus and we're going to have a season next year, but who knows? So why stick another unknown in your life? And, but it was, like I said, this is not something that's new. The portal's not new. If they do change the rule to where they, where they can transfer and not sit out, and they have the one-time transfer opportunity, to me, it's disturbing. It will be chaos. Obviously, I'm not for it, and especially if we do it in the middle of a pandemic where kids aren't on campuses and you're not being able to be around your guys. It would not, to me, it would not be a very good decision. But obviously, there's other people that make that decision and not me. So it's a tough thing. But as I said, we feel really good about Nigel. We feel, great about Rudy. Even Selton gives you some – he played point guard almost all year for his team. So you got 3 guys that can handle the ball. I thought Mike McGurl last year I thought it was great for him to end on a positive note. And, he had his best passing day of his career against TCU and 6 assists, 1 turnover, made some of his best passes. I know he's really kind of taken over leadership for our team. And, and Dejuan really wants to get better handling the basketball. So, I hope we're going to be more versatile and have more people that can score in different ways and more people that can pass and dribble.
Coach, you referenced, pardon me, Casey briefly earlier. How did practice go for him the last, half of the season? And is he somebody that you could project as a future starter at the Big 12 level?
Well, I hope so. I hope his physicality. I think he's going to be a very competitive player. We feel good about our big guys coming back, but I think I said at press conference. He definitely changed practice. And somebody brought this up to me in a phone conversation that they thought, just from an outsider, they thought Mac really played better once Casey got on campus. And I told you guys, he made practice very tough for our bigs. And when you're on the scout squad, it's a lot easier. You can kind of just, you just go and you're not responsible. You miss a shot, it's not a big deal. You just keep playing. But his physicality, his strength, are really important. The bad part about him not being here is we thought we were really making progress. Ben was making progress. The coaches with his footwork, his hands, those things, and now we got to rely on him. And it's with all our guys, the self-discipline. Doing more with less, all those things are so important. And, with Casey, those first couple of weeks, he's back in Toronto and it's cold and snow and you can't get in gyms. And he just said, what do I do, coach? And I said, well, I knew I had been to his house. So I said, take me on a little tour. And he does have a garage. And I said, well, you can use your garage and it's not that cold. So, and Ben has been sending him different ideas, footwork, it's going back to old school. When we used the sidewalk and a line and we took tape or chalk and did a box and we worked on footwork. We've been able to send them jump ropes and things like that. So they're going to have to have some imagination, some creativity to help themselves continue to get better.
Hey, Coach, going back to following up on what Grant asked about, with this one open scholarship that you have, would you like to use it on high school, junior college, grad transfer, or just whatever you can find that's best available?
Yeah, I think whatever is the best available. I don't know if I want to, add another freshman where now they're almost the majority of your team. But if it's the right player, we would feel good about it. I wouldn't be, against even a transfer that had to sit out. If it's a good player, I think obviously Baylor has had pretty good success with taking transfers and, have helped them become a better program. And if it's the right grad transfer, we would take them, but we're kind of eyes and ears on everything. Obviously every day the portal, they just keep adding up, and we got to see who's out there. I wouldn't say we're in a rush. We've been talking with a variety of kids, and just hope to get the best one.
Is the portal almost overwhelming at times? I mean, so many kids pop in, and then you got to figure out, what level of player they are, and just keep going with it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Our coaches, we're in a difficult situation, obviously not being able to communicate with our guys. And now you're sitting here, I'll do a three-way call or a four-way call with our recruiting coaches almost every day just to get an update. We text, we're constantly just seeing it. It's continuous. And I don't know if it's good for college basketball. And as I talked about, if they change the rule, oh shoot, that thing might double. And I just don't understand, especially in this difficult time. I'm not sure it would be a great thing, but we'll see what happens.
Will Mike and Levi be able to step up and be leaders on next season's team, the seniors?
Yeah, I really believe they can. Mike has done right now he's really taken it upon himself, to do that along with Dejuan. And I talked to you guys along throughout the season. That Dejuan is said a lot for a freshman, and he cares so much. He worries about everybody. And that's another thing we've talked about. as a group. Somehow, even though we're far away, we got to be closer when we come back, and the communication. And these guys, at night they're playing video games together. They got their group chats. They got another chat with the coaches. As I said, we're trying to do several calls. We're trying to do individual calls, group calls. So it's that it's going to be a challenge, but it was the number 2 thing I talked about today with our guys and the importance of that.
Coach, from a physical standpoint, can you update us on how Selton is with his hand, and then with Montavious too?
Well, I really feel bad for Selton because he couldn't even get into a doctor's office to get an X-ray. So Luke is trying to be very cautious with him. We think he's healed. He spent the right amount of time, but it would have been nice to have an X-ray. Through Luke and through the doctors, we've done FaceTime calls, exercises that they want him to do. I would say his high school coach, his prep school coach, Kenny. He told me, Coach, Selton's been working out already, but we don't want him to go too fast and make sure it's healed. And I've got to, I told him how important he is to us next year. And I don't want that hand to have an issue. And it's important. I said, you just got to be a little more patient. I've joked with him that he needs to use that left hand anyway. That's a great way. I said, I told him, my mom always told me God did things in your life to help you improve. And I said, God, I hate to have you have a broken hand, but now you have a chance to work on your left hand. So hopefully that's going to get better and become a weapon for you a year from now. So that's been a little tough for him. And then, with Montavious, he got out of his brace last week. He literally just called me a couple minutes ago, right before I got on, after our team chat, just to give me an update. He feels really good. He's doing some stuff. Again, we're trying not to go too fast with him, but Luke and Ben have a real good progression with that. And I don't even know if you guys know, Dejuan had a procedure the day we got back after they canceled the Baylor game that afternoon. We got back because we knew he won. We were all going to have to get out of town. So he was in a brace, nothing serious. And he just got out of the brace. He was in it for 4 weeks, and he's making progress with that also.
Bruce, when you look at these new guys, I know it's crazy early to think about it, but how many of them do you see as potential starters on next year's team?
Well, I'm not sure about starters, but I really think we got to have 2 or 3 of them become major factors for our team, and that's why I've emphasized to our older guys, you got to help them, and they just on our in our little group Zoom chat that we were just on, several of them spoke up, and it was kind of ironic. The freshmen, Antonio and Dejuan, and they actually spoke up and said, "You guys, this is hard. This is you got to listen to these guys." And I was really proud of Antonio talking about listening. He said, "Listen to these guys. I didn't realize last year." And the more you listen and get yourself ready now, the better it's going to help. It's going to help you, and we're going to be a better team in the future.
Hey, Bruce, when you look at the numbers for Rudy, they are strikingly similar to David. I mean, he's averaged a few more points per game and a couple more rebounds. But how similar are their games, especially when you look back that basically both of them led the nation in junior college level in assists?
Well, I told Tom today that I didn't want to bring it up because last year I brought it up for David, and then
no, I wasn't going to bring that up either. But
I think Rudy, is one, his physical presence is much different. His energy, his personality, it's totally. If you talk to him, you FaceTime him once, the smile goes from one side of the screen to the other. It could be, 9:30 in the morning, or when he sends me a videotape at 2:30 a.m. He's got a smile and energy on his face. So that part of it is a little different. As I said, they both led the country in assists, so they distributed. I think, Rudy is a little, probably because of his body, a little, could score a little more versatile than David did. But, David still had his nice moments for us.
Will this be the most newcomers you've ever had on one team at a time, or have you had a team with more?
Well, I think it's probably close. It wasn't a Dean's year. Dean and Barry and Cam, we had quite a few guys coming in, including walk-ons. It's going to be anytime you get a majority of new guys, you always have a little bit of fear, but I think we're excited about it, especially the type of kids they are, the character they are, the quality of player they are, and I just feel good about them, and we're very, very fortunate to have this group coming in.
Anything else for Coach?
Bruce, I wanted to hop back in for 1 second. I think it was the very first question you mentioned that you wanted to give Dejuan like an assist for getting Siri kind of on board. Like, what did that actually mean? Were you guys maybe not on him super hot until Dejuan said it, or was it more just that Dejuan kind of giving his seal of approval made you guys feel better about it?
No, he just kept pushing. You got to work our guy. You got to work our guy. And I can't remember one of the bus trips or flights. I'm coming back, and he all of a sudden I get a text, Dejuan, have you talked to my guy lately? Have he just that he was sold on him, and I think that definitely helped. And once I think you get to know Siri, he's just a good family, good upbringing, good character, quality person, and he wants to be a good basketball player, and that's important.
Anything else for Coach? Okay.
I guess I would ask one more, Tom, if you have time.
Sure.
I was going to ask about Shane Southwell, Coach.
Yeah.
Is he in town? Was he a no-brainer? I guess kind of a two-part question.
Yeah. Well, he's not in town yet. He would love to be here. We just told him there was no sense pay double rent, to come. We're just all, communicating by phone. They have allowed us, occasionally to go in the office if we need stuff. We're not supposed to have meetings, and, just like everybody else on campus. So, most of our meetings have been like this, Zoom calls, FaceTime calls, and I've learned a lot about using my phone, I'll tell you that. So, so we just said, stay there. His goal, his hope is to come in May. But that could even be pushed back if we, depending on what is decided with that. To go, it was to me, it was a no-brainer. And about certain guys when they come up that they're going to be good coaches. And when I called Shane when he was, still playing overseas, and I said the GA spot's going to be open. Just like with Chester, Bradcorn, previous guys that have come through, hey, this might be your opportunity. And it might be more fun to play basketball in Finland or Switzerland or something, but you got to better think about your future, and this opportunity might not be there. So he jumped on it. The one thing I admire about him, he did a great job for us last, as a GA and then as USA Basketball. That opportunity, the film work, the scouting reports, the relationship. I just talked to Sean Ford from USA Basketball. He called and was all fired up about Shane joining the staff, and he just said, he talked about Shane's relationship with all the players was really special. So that part of it was really good. But the thing, I give Shane a lot of credit. I said, I talked to him, and he said, Coach, one of the best things that happened to me was going to Robert Morris. I've had to grow up and learn. so much about, I've been spoiled at the high level. And when you go to that mid-low level, it's so different. And he said, Coach, it's really, really helped me as a person, as a coach. And, just understanding what, there are different levels and it's not easy. So to me, when I heard that, it even gave me just more appreciation that he was joining our staff.
Thank you.
I personally am excited about the Shane hire as well, but what did Brad Korn bring to the team as well? Because I feel like sometimes he got overlooked on your staff.
Yeah, I think he was the quiet one. And I think if you talk to the players, he had the quiet relationship with all our guys. He really grew as a communicator. I really was on him and, trying to get him motivated and to become a more of an outgoing person. I thought he had the knowledge, basketball knowledge, the understanding of the game, the relationship with players to become a head coach. But, you also got to communicate. And I think Brad got better and better. Some of his pre and post game talks were really, really good. He's very, very organized. And he was a good buffer. Coach Lowry has his strong opinions. Coach Henderson never shuts up. We kind of walk out of the office, and Coach Korn was a nice buffer in between them. So can't thank him enough for what he did for us, and wish him the best. And just so happy he got the opportunity. And it's been a little crazy for him too to take a new job and be stuck in not on your campus, not being able to even hire a staff and be around them, all that stuff. So it hasn't been easy, but hey, make the best. You get a chance to be a head coach, be happy. And I know he'll do a great job there.